Making stories allegorical to modern times is a double-edged sword. While it can be a very good period piece of art, it can very well lead into a bashful and resentful commentary of modern times or a marketing tactic used by corporates where they use modern problems as a lure to sell their products. Today we will be looking at why Thor Love and Thunder fails at that aspect.
You're unworthy!
How the boy somewhat succeeds there, and how Daredevil does a better job than both, and a brief of history social commentary in literature involving superheroes.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
For starters, comic books have always been a medium for social commentary. Superman talking about the American way, Wonder Woman fighting Nazis, X-Men being a symbol for the marginalized, and later works such as Watchmen and The Dark Knight Returns deconstructing the socio-political status of the world. When done properly, the stories can be very powerful. Love and Thunder is awful, despite being a clever parody of the superhero genre for the same reason as the boys' comics are awful in one note: insincere and lacking of substance story. The entire point of Thor Love and Thunder is, look how goofy the MCU tropes are. Taika Waititi has consciously shown superheroes as marketing products and going too far with monetizing national tragedies such as the Thanos snap. The audience greedily eats whatever the MCU cooks, like the Asgardian play. Gore is the man who is tired of the hypocrisy,
Oh gods will die.
the pompousness. You can say God is Taika himself with a shrewd satire set against corporate bastardization of cinema. His daughter, the dreams and independence of cinema lost in the world of godly corporate theme park movies. Taika didn't make a movie, he made a joke. The joke being, Marvel movies are shallow, humorless, CGI injected fodder for consumption. Therefore he made a movie that took that to an extreme. But why didn't it work? Well, because that's not what Thor is about fundamentally. Here's who Thor is fundamentally in the comics. He's a brash, arrogant, headstrong warrior who's often silly and dumb beknownst to himself. His character arc consists of learning humility and responsibility. In the God Butcher storyline, both Gore and Thor have a character arc. In fact, all three Thors do. The childish young Thor who is unworthy of Mjolnir. He is not compassionate, he is not humble, and wastes away his life fornicating with women, drinking and fighting battles for his own thrill. This Thor is on his pathway to become the type of god Gore hates. Then there's the older Thor, a cynical and bitter old man. He is the king of Asgard. The Odin Force has been renamed to Thor Force. Yet despite being so powerful, he lacks the spirit and resolve. In bleak and dystopian future, all gods are dead save for Thor. Every god has been killed by Gore and he is just playing with Thor, sending a never-ending army of dark creatures that Thor can defeat but won't lead him anywhere. And finally there's the modern day Thor, the greatest avenger and the greatest god. He answers prayers and brings rain to heal unknown droughts at any obscure end of the universe. He is kind, saves people, and is humble. Gore first starts killing God in the era of young Thor and is defeated and captured by him. Young Thor was on his way to fight a battle against a group of Saxons and their gods. A fruitless fit, it's there that he learns that Gore has killed all the gods of the Saxons. When young Thor is captured, his people come to save him. Gore refuses to fight them or harm them as God doesn't believe in killing innocents. In his mind, it's gods that are bad and kill innocents on a whim, not him. He simply does the bare minimum to defend himself while Thor breaks free and cuts his hands off and beats him up badly. Young Thor ambushed a back-turned and unarmed Gore. This isn't a defeat for Gore, it proves his point. Young Thor was leading his men on a battle of fruitless glory and they were ready and they were to die for him if Gore wasn't considerate. In Thor's edges of life, he had not remembered anyone who died for him, hence proving Gore right and his ideology on gods. And this is exactly what bothers Thor the Avenger. Gore, however, is proven wrong. He is so strong that he has created a wife and a child for himself and a planet with gods as slave to serve and build him a bomb that he had killed all gods. While it has been pointed out many times in the story that Gorr, by killing gods, has himself become a god, this is the climax of that theme. Gorr has become what he swore to destroy. Gorr's wife plays a key role here. He has created her for the sole purpose of serving him as a wife, mirrors how God have supposedly created humans for their exploitation. Gorr often ignores her and leaves her to focus on his grand schemes of killing gods. His devoted wife then tells him how much she loves him and considers Gorr to be her god. Being compared to gods pisses Gorr off and he kills his wife. This comic characterizes Thor the Avenger perfectly. The matured and humble hero of the people wants to prove Gorr wrong. Not all gods are callous and power-hungry, and that they do listen to people and not exploit them. When Gorr hunts gods on the basis of their exploitive nature, it's a personal attack to Thor himself and a reflection on his past self. Thus, when Thor the Avenger goes to hunt Gorr and stop him, he is not only stopping a mass murderer, he is also on a quest to prove to everyone that he is not like others. Thor the Avenger is selfless and a hero as he wants to prove to everyone that their prayers aren't in vain. The comics are all that. The movie is just, look how silly Marvel movies are. This is where The Boys come in. That's the difference between The Boys TV show and The Boys comics. If you take away the satire, the parody and the on-nose commentary, does The Boys have any grounds? The show does and the comic doesn't. Season 3 was still about parents and the flow of abuse. There was a solid story without the satire. Butcher, Homelander and Soldier Boy had abusive parents, so they were abusive themselves.
You're a fucking disappointment.
Butcher stops the abuse by saving Huey and not letting Soldier Boy hurt Ryan, but Soldier Boy and Homelander can't. Huey, being ashamed of his father and himself, thinking of himself as inferior to Annie, realizes heroism is in saving people above all else and not looking strong. He can still be a hero and save Annie without feeling inferior about it.
I didn't know what strength was.
I could go on, but the idea being the TV show has all this, but the comics is just a hateful bashing of cape shit. What The Boys TV show does is more than just comment on the world and speaks about themes that are universal. The themes of parental abandonment, power and its abuse, etc. Themes that are very relevant for humanity. And this is why Daredevil is even better. Daredevil doesn't at all try to cater itself to the audience by commenting on modern issues, but relies completely in the realm of universal themes of abandonment, faith, perseverance, and so on. Great stories are made of that. When you don't restrict your art to one specific symbolism, no matter how profound it is, its avenues become endless. Thor 4 is just a one streamlined commentary. The Boys is that, and exploration of several universal themes that make it one of the best TV shows of modern times, and is therefore one of the best stories of all time. In 1,000 years from now, no one will have the period-specific problems we are facing now. The Disney and the corporates that The Boys and Taika are making commentary on will not exist, but people like Butcher, Homelander, and more importantly, people like Daredevil. Heroes we should strive to be shall always exist.
To try again, Frank.
You okay, sir?
Yes.
To try. And if you don't get that, there's something broken in you can't fix.